Hey everyone, welcome to the video that I want to do today on Tezos. I had somebody on the Discord server bring this up, and I think the chart looked good enough to go ahead and talk through. I don't have a whole lot of analysis on this chart, so this was a prime example for me to kind of go through my thought process when I take an analysis on an asset. Before I get into any of this, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. I want to kind of outline what I think is going on here, and from there, kind of determine what's going to be happening next. So we're gonna go back here to the chart, and there's a decent amount that's going on here on the chart, and you can see that I really haven't done a whole lot as far as analysis goes. So this is good. Basically, all that I've done so far is I've marked off the dominant pivot low, I've marked off the dominant pivot high, and then I've got the pullback. Okay, so I've got two different fibs that I've done here. I've got our normal fib, right? That shows our negative 236 extension up here at $5.86. I also have our trend-based fib extension tool, which we have measured this first move, pulled back to the second move, this is the pullback right here. And then we have, as per usual, we have our four targets. We have the 61.8, we have the 100, we have the 123.6, and we have the ultimate target up here, which is the 161.8. If we hit the 161.8, typically we could expect us to reach our ultimate target of the 261.8. I'm not getting my hopes up on that one. I've been surprised before. I mean, look at VeChain. But anyway, let's just take a look at this. We're looking at the daily chart. So there's a lot of noise that happens in, in the intraday, charts. So I don't want to get too caught up in that. What I want to focus on is the count. Okay, so I'm going to start by starting way down here and calling this a 1. I'm going to give myself a little bit of room. 1, 2. Up here we've got a 3, pull back for the 4, and then we have our 5 up there. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit of subdivision, because you're probably going to say this 1 isn't very long, right? This 3 is pretty long, and 3 is supposed to be long, but that 5 is really wide, and this looks to me like an extended fifth. So that seems to be okay, as far as an upside for a pullback. So this looks okay. Let's just get a little bit of subdivision in here. So from right down here, we've got 1, and I'm going to change the degree on this here in a moment. 1, 2. We've got a 3, and then we've got a 4, and then we have our 5. This is on a smaller degree. So let's just go ahead and adjust this, change this to a micro, and let's go ahead and give this a nice white color just to contrast the difference between the waves. So you've got your main count, your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inside of wave 3, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish that move. So let me move this guy over here now that we've got this right there. Okay. So this looks good. Now let's take a look at the correction here. I think it's fair to say that we do have a bit of a correction. So from up here, we've got a nice A, we've got a B, and then we have a C to finish off this move. All right, so that seems to work out quite nicely. Taking a look at the history is, in my opinion, just as important as trying to predict the future. Nobody can predict the future, but if you take a look at the past, you can kind of get a sense for where we are in the count, and I think that is the most important piece to keep in mind here. All right, so from here, let's also count this piece. From down here, we've got a nice 1, 2, nice big move up here, and it could be the 3 is here, the 3 is here. We can count this the 3, the 4, and then we have our blow off top here for the 5. We could get some subdivision inside of this. I'm not really interested in doing that right now. One way or another, we did have, in my opinion, at the time, we had a little bit of a blow off top. Now, what we've got from there, this is a little unconventional, because what a lot of people are trying to say here is that we've got, from a corrective standpoint, we've got this A, B, C into the A, we've got a B, and then we've got this crazy C down here. Whether you like that or not, I believe that that is what we have to. I think that's what we have to put here. If you're an Elliott wave person, that's kind of how this looks. Unless you want to put the A here and the B up here, which is perfectly fine. One way or another, we have a correction that obviously finished, right? Obviously finished down here at $1. We came down to about 95 cents. Okay. So got crazy support down here to $1. Hit the 786. It overextended a little bit. It had a nice bounce off of that, and then we've seen basically up since then. A couple days later, we did dip back down to about $1.10 or $1.13 or so. But generally speaking, it's been up since then. All right. So what I'm prepared to say here is that this is either this is a 1, 2, and we're working on the 3, 4, 5. Or this is an A, B, and we're working on a C, okay? Of course, on a higher degree. All right, so let's give this one a slightly different color as well, just for contrasting the differences. So let's give this one a nice cyan color. And we're on a log scale. I'm gonna get rid of all of our indicators because I wanna focus just on the price here. And I wanna try and get this to the point where we can see our upside targets. Okay, so we've got the 2 right here. So we've got a 1, we've got a 2. We've got 5 waves up to the 1. We have a crazy correction down here to the 2. Okay. As far as the time goes, it took us a while to get up here to the 1. It didn't take very long to correct that move. We're working on the 3, and we expect the 3 to be significantly larger. We're really honestly expecting this thing to come up here to about $14. And then, where the 4 and the 5 go, maybe the 5 stops at the 175. One way or another, this 4 is going to be very interesting when we get there. But I think as far as an upside move goes, I think what we're seeing here, all right, what we're seeing right now is from down here, I think we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. This is on a smaller degree, of course. And then we have a very shallow 2, okay? So from up here, we had a little A, B, C, okay? We'll put this on a smaller degree as well. We're going to change these back to white because they match the degree in which we are trying to measure here. So let's just put this one also back to white. All right, so this is looking okay. From here we go up, right? Because theoretically, on a higher degree, what we just basically completed was a 1 and a 2, and then we should be going up for a 3, 4, 5 to complete this move. Now, how long is this going to take? I don't know. We're looking at maybe mid-August. Okay, but we should be seeing some accelerated buying. We should be seeing some accelerated buying up into this 3. Okay, and let's just fix this guy right here. We're going to give him a little bit of a higher degree. This may seem like a lot of work to you guys, but this is just fun for me. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up into the 1, A, B, C into the 2. We should be seeing some accelerated buying to get into our 3rd wave. Our 3rd wave. So looking at this, we've got a 1, 2, our 3rd wave of the 3rd. So we've got working on potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're working on a smaller degree, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, A, B, C into the 4, and then 5 waves up into the 5, which would complete our higher degree 3. And then we correct, and then we move up even higher. That is assuming a couple things. One, it assumes that Bitcoin is going to continue to either remain stable or appreciate in value. It also means that we don't have some kind of black swan event, maybe have governments, whatever it may be that's going to be, causing some things to, just to continue pushing the market down. What I can say here, looking again at the daily, we've talked about our roadmap here to the upside, but let's also take a look and see if there is any merit to a bearish move here from where we are at right now. All right, so let's just go ahead and measure from the top here. And I'm just looking left because I don't want to overlap the chart. It just gets too messy that way. From the top down here to the bottom, looking on a log scale, we're basically having some resistance here at the 786. Let's just see if we have the 887 to contend with. That guy right there at $3.37. Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. We're kind of in no man's land. So I would say there's no algo that's very obvious that's pointing, to the downside here. I would say it's not looking very likely that we're going to have significant downside. We did have a little bit of a breakout today. Okay, so the last time I looked at this, we have a top here, we had a top here, and we're breaking through that right now, which is really good. So from a buying perspective, actually, I think Jay's apartment said an entry at $2.87. Well, that is basically a bullish retest of this. I would say you might be able to get 286, 285, depending on how many days it takes to get there. It's going to take a little bit of time. But it does look like this is a contender for a 1, 2, and then we're working on 3, 4, 5, okay, on a smaller degree, of course. So it looks like this is what's in process. I'm actually going to make this red because this is more of a projection than it is reality. Okay, so I think this is likely what we're going to see. We've got a breakout up here. This level back here at 185, 183 rather, we had a top here. We had some resistance there after we fell down below it. And then we had a nice cluster of support above it, and then we've moved up higher. What I can see as resistance right now is basically right here at about 315, 318, this range. And you can see that this, even if we tag off the very top of where we wicked off here and just take it straight left, you can see obviously there's some clustering going on up here. This is the median of a range that I can see. So if I pull out my parallel channel tool, I'm not going to say too much more on this because this is pretty self-explanatory here. Take this up to the top, and then we'll come all the way down here to the bottom, right there. And you can see right here at the median. So I'm taking these wicks down here on the bottom, these wicks up here at the top, and I'm creating a little bit of a channel. Right now we're trading on the bottom part of this channel. So just kind of disregarding this diagonal that we've got here, this diagonal resistance, which we have broken through. We've got definite median resistance here. So if we can push through this, I would say we probably go up here to the top. This seems to have worked itself out pretty well. Maybe we come back down to the median for this wave 4, which would be very, very likely. And then we go up to the 5, right? So the 5, looking at the upside there, not related to this 4. This 4 would be further out here because we're still working our way up to the 3. And again, that wave 3 is looking way, way, way up, much, much higher. Okay, so I don't have a technical target for this. If I had to put a technical target on where wave 3 would end, what I would do is I would again take my trend-based fib extension tool, go down here to the bottom, pivot from the top where I'm projecting the top to be, and pulling it back down to the bottom. And I was pretty close, about $9.37. Right? So this is 1, 2, working on the 3, 4, and then that 5 would be up there to $9.37. And maybe this 3 is actually going to be closer up here. And then we come up here for the 4 to get a bullish retest of a breakout, assuming we do breakout. And then we can get this last move up there. Even if you just do the breakout play, let's just see what this would look like. If we do break out above this, and you happen to catch it right here, right? So let's say you catch it right at $4 and you pull this thing all the way to 937, you're looking at about 136%. So very, very good return if that works itself out. Where would you stop loss? I would stop loss on the median here. You're talking a pretty significant loss though, right? Because if you're willing to risk to get 136% gain, I mean, you're going to have a significant loss on that as well if you do take that trade and it happens to move against you. If it moves against you, potentially 17% loss, but you have a potential for 136% gain. You'll be able to tell if this is going to move against you pretty quick. So maybe you can layer some bids here, or if you just want to catch it right here at $3.99, if it starts to move against you, you can just go ahead and get out with less of a loss. But don't get chopped out of position. As I was mentioning at the very beginning of this video, there tends to be a lot of noise in the middle of a day, in the middle of a trading day. So just trying to get caught up in that noise, knowing that the market is always going to be trying to trap you, trying to get you a little bit underwater on a position, or maybe a lot underwater. If you bought altcoins in 2018 and just kind of held and you're still holding, you're probably still a little upset about that, but nonetheless, don't get too caught up in noise. This trade setup seems to work out okay. Obviously, you can try and catch a pullback here at about 287. Possible that does make that move up there, but my ultimate target to the upside is going to be about $10. And for an asset that's only $3, that's a pretty good return. Possible it goes to 15. Possible it goes to 15, but if you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know that I am a trader that does like to take profit. I don't like to just hold and hold and hold forever. I like to take my profit and move on to the next. And from an indicator standpoint, let's just take a look at this. Obviously, we're pulling back a little bit. A bullish retest down here at 286 or so seems to be okay. We're very overbought right now, though. That is my only apprehension. The 12-hour is overbought. The 3-hour is overbought, and the hourly is pulling back. Obviously, the price is pulling back, so it's pulling back a little bit. So possible that this thing does take a little bit longer to correct. You probably get a buy down here at about 286. It's probably going to take a day or two for this to play itself out, but I think you're going to get that entry, and I think you're going to be able to catch a move to the upside, especially since we've broken out of this, and we have already kind of claimed this as support. Because the next hour after we did break out of this, we tried to push down and it got absorbed above it, and it happened twice. Okay, so if you take a look at this, it's very obvious. Right here, here's our trend line. Second hour, tried to break down, it got bought up, it got absorbed. Next hour, it pulled down not as far and it got absorbed. And then the next hour, we had a spike up that got rejected, spike up, and then a big green candle there. So now this is, basically, very, very short term. 295 is our support, but ultimately this is not as important support in my opinion as this one down here. If we do happen to get back down there, 286, you may even be able to get all the way back down to 275. I'm not saying you're going to be able to do that, but very possible you can get a move back down to 275. The point is, don't get too caught up in the noise, right? Right now, what I can tell you is the 3-hour is signaling a sell. We're seeing some selling volume. So buying right now could work out. It probably will work out in the long run. But just, if you've got a good chart set up and you have a stop loss in place, don't sit and stare at the charts all day long. That does not do you any good. That doesn't do any good for you. It causes too much stress, in my opinion. So you're best off having the trade set up, setting your stop loss appropriately, and walking away. That is the most advice that I can give anybody, is to get your trade set up and then just walk away. Just walk away. All right, that's about all that I wanted to talk about when it comes to Tezos. But if this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, if you want access to our Discord, just throw in a comment in the YouTube chat, and I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. And of course, as always, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening. Stay happy, stay